Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here and welcome to a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video we're continuing our series of Season 15 episode reviews by taking a look at episode 10 of Season 15 entitled Riddle of the Sphinx. So in terms of this video review, we're going to be taking a look at a quick plot synopsis, then we'll break down the good and the bad of this episode, and then finally at the end of the video I will give this episode a score out of 10. Also, for a quick disclaimer, this video will indeed contain spoilers for the episode at hand, so if you have not yet seen this episode, I recommend clicking off the video, watching the episode, and then coming back and checking out this review. It'll still be here by the time you get back, might just make for a better experience overall. So yeah, in terms of a quick plot synopsis, what exactly is the best way to describe this episode? This is what I have written down here. Nia tries to expand her elemental powers, and Wu's team faces problems in the Explorers Club. I think that's the best way to describe it. You kind of have two different storylines going on here at the same time. In terms of the good, let's go ahead and get into it. The first positive that I have to say about this episode is the aspect of Nia's powers. She actually learns how to expand her elemental power of water out a little bit, and she gains a new ability, and that is to talk to fish, basically. She has now become Aquaman. In all seriousness, Nia has the ability to summon underwater creatures, which is something that was subtly touched on before, but now we're finally seeing it in full. She summons fish, and then she summons some giant whales that will presumably help pull the Hydra bounty and free the ninja from the island, actually returning them to some type of civilization so they can continue the fight that way. I really enjoyed seeing Nia unlock this new ability, and I can't wait to see what it does later on. Maybe she'll use it to control Wajira, who knows, just my own personal theory there. Also, we also get a couple of hints towards the Elemental Master of Water, like lineage, I guess. There's definitely some expansive knowledge dropped in this episode about the first Elemental Master of Water, as well as Maya's role as the previous Master of Water, so all that kind of ties in with Nia's current powers, and it kind of shows that she has a lot to unlock here, which is something that I really enjoyed. The other side of the episode kind of focuses on the ninja, I guess, raiding the Explorers Club, if you want to call it that. They know that Clutch Powers has stolen the real Storm amulet, and they go to the Explorers Club to find him and get it back. Ultimately, though, they face a challenge. Misako's membership card has, of course, been revoked, so outsiders can only get in by answering the Riddle of the Sphinx, which is like this weird kind of Sphinx statue, which of course has a riddle, and the ninja try their best to answer it. They eventually do, and I thought that whole sequence was kind of funny. But what I really enjoyed about the Explorers Club overall was the aspect of the ninja versus Kalmar. When Kalmar busts through the wall and demands the Storm amulet, basically all bets are off here. You get a really solid team between Wu, Kai, and Cole especially. Misako and Rei do their part too, but the main conflict here is between the team of three, Wu, Kai, and Cole, versus Kalmar and his army. I think that's a really good matchup, especially with Wu versus Kalmar. They have a really good battle this episode, and it's fantastic to see. I really enjoyed the battle between Wu and Kalmar over the Storm amulet. Very good part of this episode. Kind of weird seeing Master Wu back in action after being absent for a large majority of this season. But hey, I mean, Kalmar's a threat to everybody, so it makes sense. I really enjoyed that battle. There's also, like I said, a good focus on other characters for once. We're finally catching up with characters like Cole and Kai after having a real lack of them throughout the entire season. I mean, Kai and Cole were really only in the first couple of episodes, and they kind of weren't in a lot of the previous ones that we've reviewed so far this season, so it's nice to see them come back and actually get something to do. I imagine the team will reunite here fairly quickly. In terms of the bad, I do indeed have a couple of legitimate complaints. I really hate the Explorers Club, I'm gonna be honest. I thought that the entire Explorers Club just situation in general was really dumb. I mean, if there's an emergency and we're actually pressed for time, why bother with the whole Sphinx thing? I know it's part of the Explorers Club's like rules or whatever, and that's what makes them fun and quirky, but I really don't like a lot of the people in the Explorers Club. They all just seem like super obnoxious characters. They made me roll my eyes every time they were on screen. The Sphinx riddle thing was cool, I suppose. I mean, I touched on that earlier. My main issue with it is that it's even a thing at all. I mean, you should have just been able to go in and, you know, bypass all that kind of stuff, you know, by logic. That would only make sense, but this is Ninjago. Realism definitely is not their strong suit here, obviously. But no, I really enjoyed the Sphinx. I just really didn't like everything with the Explorers Club, and Clutch Powers is still a bad character. Clutch Powers is not a character that I can get behind. I think in season 11 he was a little bit less irritating than what he was here. Did not enjoy Clutch Powers. I thought he was a really dumb addition to this episode. I understand why he's important to the plot, but he's just annoying, like I said. The main issues that I have with this episode just come from annoyance, and considering how a large majority of this episode does indeed take place in said Explorers Club, a good chunk of this episode isn't really fun to me, but that's just my opinion. Overall though, this episode had some really good stuff in it, so I can't really fault it too much. I think a 7 out of 10 is a very fair score score for this episode. This isn't the best episode of Ninjago that I've ever seen, but it's not the worst. It has some really good stuff in it. There's just a lot of really dumb things in this episode too. So I think that's a fair score for me to give for this episode. Not the best episode, also not the worst. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. Leave a comment down below talking about what you think about this episode, and hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description from other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Once again, my name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.